How are you guys? Good. Who's a rookie in here? Okay. Who's first time out tonight? Anybody? You guys have all been out before? Okay. We have a preseason trip next month. Who's got all their words down, you think? Most of you rookies? Okay. Who was to my training 2 weeks ago? Okay. Do you guys remember my challenge that I gave you? Sorry. I just about fell over there. To get your verbal down, that's crucial because, and Hunter, or Braden, why is it important to have your verbal down before your manager can do anything else with you? Here, I'm going to have a mic passed around. You can toss it back up to me. Say that again.
So your manager can help you figure out what you need to work on.
Yeah.
Get the more experienced steps in the pitch.
So what you're saying is that 93% of your communication isn't just the words. It's body language and paraverbal. Okay. Alex gave me a new remote today that's kind of intuitive, so bear with me here. Today we're going to be going over the foundation. Let's see here. Alex, is this... There it is. The foundation, so here we go. So we've been over the intro. You're always going to get an objection there. So as a review for you guys that are rookies, and just in general, intro, we've done price, we've done 2 features and benefits. So we've done the yard, we've done the roof line. Today we're going to be doing the power spray. Who, right here in the orange, what's your name again? Tyne. Tyne, can you read this white box for us?
The checkpoints must be passed in order to progress on the roadmap. If you fail to pass the first checkpoint, then it's impossible to pass all the checkpoints.
Perfect. So as a reminder, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You can't get to G before you do A through F. I'm not that good at the alphabet, but so today we're going to be going over the foundation. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. So as Braden mentioned, for your manager to help you progress and master the roadmap, after you guys, when I do these trainings with you guys on Wednesdays, mostly what we're going over is kind of the nuts and bolts. So the words, land your words down the script. And then a lot of what you'll work on in one-on-ones with your team leader manager is that body language. So your body communicates, and then your speeds, tones, pauses, and emphasis, right, Eric? So it's not what you say, but how you say it. Just gonna go down. Okay, I'm gonna have Maddie, what's your friend's name right next to you? Is that your friend? Densley. Where's that cube? Do we have the Densley? Catch this cube right here. You sound like you have a nice voice, Densley. Can you read the first dash point for us?
KISS, principle, features, tell, and benefits, sell. Touch on what, focus, touch on that. Ooh, touch on the what, focus on the why.
So, Densley, right?
Yes.
What does KISS mean in sales? Someone want to help her out? Maddie?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. Or keep it simple, sweetie, or whatever you want to put as the S. But, yeah, if you can explain something in 5 words, why is that way more effective than explaining something in like 30 words?
Because someone's going to want to listen to something short than something long.
Yeah, we all have the attention, most of our customers have the attention span of like a goldfish. Do you guys know what the attention span of a goldfish is?
5 seconds.
Yeah, like 3 to 8 seconds. If you're a golfer, it's 3 seconds. So you have the mind like a goldfish, but your prospects, the sales, people that sell, Also have mine like a goldfish. Okay, Densley, can you pass that over to Maddie? Maddie, can you read this name drop one for us, please?
Name drop. What your neighbor, Kathy, really loves. Let me show you why Bryce down the street tells all of his friends about me, and the reason Janice switched from company XYZ is.
So, as you're going through some of these features and benefits, and I'll get into this, so if I was saying like, yeah, what your neighbor Sterling really loves, you know Sterling, is that I start at the front curb, boom. On top of that, what Kathy rants to her friends about, the reason she loves my service, what was your name in the Sundance sweater? Kai. The reason Kathy loves my service is because I power spray 3 feet up and 3 feet out. Kai, that's crucial because that seals off all the cracks and crevices around the base of your home so no bugs get in. Does that make sense? So what is the difference between me saying that there, I promise you guys, if you can master this principle of like name dropping the neighbors, Maddie, why does, what does name dropping do for you, just in general?
Like creates credibility and then like the bandwagon or whatever.
Yeah, if people want what their neighbors want, right? If Densley has a cool new dress, you want that dress, right? Or shoes or whatever you guys are into. Or the iPhone. Okay, perfect, Maddie. Can you pass that cube to the person next to you? What's your name?
Flavio.
Flavio?
Flavio.
Flavio.
Yes, sir.
Okay, kind of like Flava Flavio.
Flava
Okay,
Flav.
Flavio, hit this next one for us, would you please?
All right. Create urgency. Use phrases like I have to, I need to. That's crucial because. That's important because.
So, as we're going through, and you guys will say this 100 times a day in the summer, this is really effective for me and for people that I've seen do well at sales. Do you use any of these, Eric? Which ones do you like the best? Here, Flavio, hand him that cube, would you please?
I like to use it's important because, and that kind of hooks them into like the benefit of why.
Yeah. Like, look, this is important because that's crucial because I have to do this. I need to do this. Why would, when we're presenting a pest control sales presentation, why would we want to create urgency?
Just makes them feel like they need it now rather than it kind of prevents them from telling you I need to think about it or just buying it at a later date.
Yeah. And when you get good at sales, like, it's convenient, right? We're there in the neighborhood, our vans are there. It's hatching season. So, yeah, the sell is an emotional decision, more so, like, 'cause we're emotional, evolving, changing beings, more so than logical. So, like, if most of your consumers buy on emotion, if you get really good at reading people, conveying this confident body language, and then creating that urgency, who's sold before? Let's raise your hands. How many people will try, you know, let me just think about it. Can you send me an email? You know, I'm just not sure if, you know, Joshua, I just don't make on-the-spot decisions like this. Look, buddy, I think we're just going to need to think about this. If people are saying that, it's because either your intro sucks or you need to get better at creating urgency. So will you guys work with your team leads on creating urgency? If you've sold over 300 accounts in a 3-month summer, you're good at creating urgency, and then it's the sky's the limit from there, and you can sell anything to anybody. Let's see here. Eric, next to you, can you pass it to that nice young man there? What's your name?
My name's Jay.
Jay? That's a good name, Jay. Can you read this?
The rule of cool.
You know what that is, Jay?
I don't.
Okay, I'll teach you. Does anybody know what the rule of cool is? Sterling, what's the rule of cool? Let me see that, Jay. I'm just going to give this to Sterling here. See if I can throw still. Oh, whoops. Good catch. Sterling,
so
what's the rule of cool?
The rule of cool is if something sounds this cool to you, it's going to sound less than half that cool to the person.
Yeah.
So you really want to, you just want to send it. You want to make it sound as cool as possible.
Yeah, and they're still going to think it's only this cool, right, when you made it sound this cool. And so it goes back to my saying that you guys may have heard me say, is that the depth of your conviction is stronger than the peak of your logic. Is people want to believe what you believe you're saying's true, and if you make pest control sound really cool and sexy with the sense of urgency and help people gain that demand, that wow, I want that, you're going to get a lot more people saying yes, and everybody's going to be happy because everybody's winning with their pest-free homes, and you're getting deals and changing lives, right? Sterling, can you pass that to Mr. Jake there next to you? Jake, what's the ownership principle?
So the ownership principle, if you look at bullet 3, it's the reason we say I have and I need. People don't want to talk to like just the regular worker. They want to talk to the boss, because that's the person that's going to make the decision, and that's the person that they're going to be comfortable making that decision with. So that's what I say.
100%. And if you look like and sound like and act like the boss, believe it or not, people like to be told what to do, and so they, like Jakey said, they want to learn from the boss. So you're the expert, you're the authority there, and so instead of saying we and us and our service, and what you're gonna love when we come by is that we're gonna power spray 3 feet up and 3 feet out, Danny. That's crucial, because I don't know what I'm talking about, and my team lead just taught me to recite this, but no bugs are gonna get in. Does that sound fair? Okay, perfect. People don't want to talk to that guy. They want to talk to the owner. If you're good at the ownership principle, what kind of feedback do you get out there, Jakey?
It just makes the conversation go a lot smoother. Like, they agree with you a lot more when you take ownership of, I mean, pretty much anything. If you're just constantly saying, like, I have to do this and I need to do this and this is why, they're just going to trust you a lot more.
100%. Do people ever ask you if you're the owner, if you're the boss?
Yeah.
Or the manager? And so if you guys get those questions, you can know you're getting the ownership principle. Even though when I started working with Jakey, he looked like he was like 18 and probably was, you still got that, right? Because you looked and sounded like daddy.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
you could say that.
Check with your team lead if you don't know what it means to be daddy or mommy. Okay.
Check with Dane.
Let's move on here. Sorry, this intuitive remote is backwards, and I'm a logical guy. Sorry. Come on. Sorry, Alex, I'm not that smart. How do you do that? Oh, do you just... Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay, the verbal of the power spray. As a reminder, features tell, benefits. Yeah, features the what, benefits the why. So when I come out, I'm going to power spray 3 feet up and 3 feet out. That's crucial because that's going to seal off all the cracks and crevices around your entire home, give you 6 feet of protection so no bugs get inside. Or I flip that, seal off all the cracks and crevices and give you 6 feet of protection so no bugs get inside. Do you guys have questions on why we say this? Let's talk a little bit about what our competitors do, or what do-it-yourselfers do, or what people that don't do anything do, and why it's important. That's crucial because why is it important to go 3 feet up, 3 feet out, vets? Have any vets that want to take this one? Danny, can I get the cube, Jakey? Right up here, Danny. Little post corner of the end zone, touchdown. Okay. Okay, what were you saying, Danny?
I mean, other companies will spray less, just less coverage, less defense, just more areas for the bugs to find to get into the home. If you're like only spraying like a foot up and a foot out, the bugs just have an area to avoid to get inside.
Yeah.
Just creates another path.
Exactly, and so the foundation, just a little bit of behind the scenes, is highway for ants, spiders, centipedes. These are all bugs you guys will have out in market. A lot of these companies do I call it a 5-minute spray and pray. It's kind of like the Chinese fire drill. I've actually seen competitor technician, I don't even know if you want to call him a technician, on a Segway, just riding the Segway as fast as he could around the home, just basically doing like a Chuck E. Cheese spray and pray. That's not going to do anything effective for the bugs, right, Danny?
No, it won't.
And it's also important to, when our field experts, just so you guys know what you're selling, is that sometimes if people have a bad ant problem, we'll actually do a different type of spray. Because if you do a spray versus a bait or a gel, you can actually make the infestation worse. And so it's important that your field expert is trained daily to know the knowledge of what to do. But in general, is to give that base coverage, because spiders, they have 8 legs, right, and barely make any contact with the ground. And so our 6-foot power spray, the 3 feet up and the 3 feet out, this is way more complicated because we keep it simple, right? But we have a product where it'll hook into their vents, their ventilation, their lungs, and then hook onto their abdomen. And then mommy spider goes and hatches and kills all the other baby spiders. But this is nothing that you're ever going to explain to customers, just give you guys that testimony that we're the best, okay? Questions on this? On some of the verbal? Do you say something like this, Danny? What's your verbal?
The next thing I need to do, Janice, super important. Marsha loves that I spray the foundation. That's going to be super important.
Is that going to stain my siding?
No, it's actually not. It's going to be totally fine. But I need to go 3 feet up and 3 feet out to make sure that we're keeping those bugs away. Does that sound fair?
Okay, I think my guys do that.
Yeah, perfect. And we'll do that as well. I want to make sure I'm spraying more, right? More than the foot that they're doing.
Yeah, the more the merrier, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sweet. There it is. Oh, okay. Body language and paraverbal. Remember that 55% and that 38%. So it's not rocket science here. Once you have something down, then you teach it to someone else, you'll remember 95% of it. So you want to highlight the blue words, and we're just going to do a combo today. So with your body language, your arms, you really want to get into it. You guys see when I talk and present. When I sell to people, I don't know why I do this up here, but it's not like I'm walking around on someone's doorstep like this, right? I've got the locked in hip, my iPad, and then let me pretend like Eric's my customer. What was your name? Eric, guys. So next thing I have to do, what Bruce next door loves, is I power spray 3 feet up and 3 feet out. That's crucial, Eric, because that gives you 6 feet of protection around the entire home so that no bugs are getting inside. Do you have a deck in the back?
Yeah, it's a raised deck.
With furniture?
Yeah.
You want me to treat that as well for you?
Is that extra?
Of course not. What's your last name?
Mitchell.
Okay. And then the blue words, 3 feet up, 3 feet out. That's crucial because that's going to seal off all the cracks and crevices and give you 6 feet of protection around the entire home so no bugs get inside. Which other vets do the karate chop in here? Anybody? Just kind of a little like you're cutting the cheese, slicing the butter. People love it, but if you do it with meaning, they love it. If you don't, you look silly. Any questions here on body language? Who's a vet that's serviced over 300 general pest control accounts in here? Jakey, close? Jakey's good. Who's sold north of 250? Remind me your name. Caden, come up here real quick. At 250? Okay. We're gonna put this vet on the spot, and you guys point out or highlight how his body language is and how his paraverbal is. He doesn't even need to use my words. They're probably pretty similar. And you guys point out kind of what he does. Is it cool if I kind of like walk around a little bit too? Yeah, of course, yeah. Get into it. Get into character. Yeah. Grabbing the cube. Perfect.
You're Dane, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So Dane, this is what we're gonna be doing for you guys. All the neighbors are loving it. We're gonna treat your guys' home 3 feet up and 3 feet out. That's super important because that's the only way to get the bugs out of the walls, out of the wall voids. It's gonna seal off all the cracks and crevices, push them all off the property.
Oh, wow. Is that extra to go the full 6 feet like that?
Absolutely not. That's what we're gonna do for all our customers.
Yeah, we'll do it.
What we are gonna do that's gonna be special for you though, is you guys have a deck around back, right?
The little one, yeah.
Little one.
It's actually just a slab, like a concrete slab, but
That's totally fine. We'll treat that for you guys as well.
perfect. Where'd you sell?
Raleigh and then Columbus.
Okay. 2 claps. It's Caden, right? What'd you guys like that Caden did there with his body language or paraverbal? Chill. Okay. You in the back. What's your name? Isaac. Eric, give your toss back to Isaac back there. Isaac, what'd you like that he did?
He like got down and dirty, down in the foundation.
Down and dirty. Yeah.
He was like actually like pointing and
That's
he was
right.
kneeling.
Look, Kathy, most of these competitors, they don't get down and dirty like I'm going to. What I have to do is power spray 3 feet up and 3 feet out. That's crucial because if you don't do that, where those spiders and ants like to get in, you'll never get rid of the bugs. It's, I feel like doing this too, and vets, if you guys have anything to add, how do you, if all of our competitors, and this is me just invoking participation, if all of our competitors say the exact same thing, how do we differentiate ourselves at Moxie from our competitors? Because our competitors also say we go 4 feet up, 4 feet out. They say a lot of hot air and just pie in the sky kind of stuff. It's a lot of people out there, it's sad, will say anything to get a sell. But how, want to get some feedback from vets. How do you get the customer to believe what you believe you're saying is true by differentiating that? Andrew, can we get a cube over here, Alex?
Where is he?
Right here. Oh yeah, college athlete right there. What college sport did you play?
I was a cheerleader.
Nice. A man leader. A man's man right there. He got to hang out with hotties all day during the games because he wasn't playing. I'm just kidding, Andrew. Okay, go ahead.
I wasn't playing. I couldn't play football.
It's
I did
true.
cross
He's
country.
dead. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so I have 2 main things. The first one is coming off as a competent professional. So like I love to know the neighborhood as soon as I start knocking in the neighborhood. So for this spot specifically, I like to ask like, so these homes were built in the 70s, right? And then they'll be like, yeah. And I say like, the reason I love to work with these homes especially is because when I come out, I go 3 feet up, 3 feet out, right? So I kind of like tailor the service to their home. Whether it's built...
And does that go for, like, if it's a new development as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So yeah, whether it's 70s or 2023, like it's still gonna sound really nice. And bottom line, it still is really effective. The second thing is I actually focus a lot more on the yard because we have a unique license, the turf and ornamental license, which allows us to treat around the entire home to actually get to the source of the problem rather than treating just the symptom.
Exactly. And I do that as well. As you guys that have been to my past 2 trainings, there's a reason I did yard and then roof line and then foundation. Because unless you're really, really good, which you'll get to, at minimizing and then maximizing, if you get people to trust you and believe you, is that, and these are factual things, like if you want to argue if this is true, come argue with me after, but is that most of our competitors legitimately, if they do anything, will do a little 2-inch mist. They do a lot less, and that's why we can charge people for our premium service because of product knowledge, application, and think about it, it's like, but yeah, to me, to not beat a dead horse, is that the 3 feet up and the 3 feet out, that 6 feet of protection around the entire home is secondary to the yard and the roof line, because most of our competitors aren't spending 15, 20 minutes just knocking down spider webs and wasp nest, but that people know that they're getting the best. Because if you don't get the source of the bugs in the yard, like what Andrew said, you'll never get rid of the bugs. But if the bugs are pest, and that's why pests are called pest, if they break through the yard somehow and get near the foundation, there's 6 feet of protection where they literally have like just another huge third line of defense. Do you have anything to add to that, Andrew?
No, I liked it. Like,
Okay.
sometimes, especially like my first versus second year, like I sold 75K my first year and then 195K my second. I wouldn't always bring up the spray my second year. Like, the spray would be something that I used at the very end if I kind of reached like a stall point and needed to add some more value. Usually I focus way more on like what makes us different, and sometimes I'll make a joke out of it, like early on when they're kind of just once you get off the door, I'll be like, no, like obviously like I spray the foundation, but what makes me special? And so that's something else that I started doing a little different. It's just like joking, everyone sprays the foundation. Like, what pest control company doesn't do that? And then go into our feature and benefits that makes us unique, and then go in depth with the 3 feet up, 3 feet out if you need to later on.
Exactly. And what you can do too is kind of 8-miling or beating them to the objection. Like what he said is that everybody does the power spray, right? What was your name right here? In the Bulls shirt, I think. Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, you've seen your guy come out before, right? So they have that pump tank. They give you that little drizzle around the base of the home. Okay. So I do 2 things very different. When I come out, I'm going to power spray 3 feet up and 3 feet out. And Brooklyn, that's 6 feet instead of the 6 inches. Gives you that entire protection around the full home. So no spiders and ants are just waltzing in, because you guys are still seeing spiders in the basement, right? So what did I do there, vets? What did I do there with 8-miling, but then comparing and contrasting? Michael.
So your 8-mile, like the I've already got a guy objection, because you pointed out like, yeah, this is what you guys are already doing. And so by identifying and like getting right ahead of what they were about to object to you with, they can't really object to it anymore because you already told it to them. And then also being very assumptive about the fact that they're still getting the spiders in the basement. Like most of the time they are, especially if they're not getting like the eaves in the yard. And so as soon as they make that connection, like you just build a lot more, I don't know, value for them.
Yeah, so if you so that would be another key point too is you guys get the basics down. Any vet that I've seen do really well gets really good at comparing and contrasting, and then identifying the problem and being a solution. So even if their guy is spot treating the yard or doing that quick mist around the base of the home or taking a brush and knocking stuff down, if you guys can point out the thesis and a problem and be a solution, so tell them what and why. The why is, hey, you basically, in a nonchalant way, you should come over to my service and let me be your professional bug guy, because you already have a service, but what you're currently getting isn't taking care of the problem. And so let me be your solution, because that's what I do best. Here in the #Ferguson hat.
So how do you respond when you're talking about the base and then you ask them, like, because you're still seeing spiders in the basement, right? And they're like, actually, no, we're not really seeing spiders in the basement.
Okay, not
How would
yet.
you respond to that? Yeah.
Yeah, not yet, but your neighbor Kathy is. And like, they love the roof line up here. They like to see these trees. Yeah, so I'm sure you know this, but it's hatching season. So what was your name?
Aaron.
Aaron. So those spiders, it's not if, but when, they will hatch and get into the home. It's especially come August. And I'm sure your wife doesn't like spiders, right?
I'm actually not married.
Okay, well, I'm sure you don't like spiders, right, Aaron? No one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to leave a deterrent to prevent anything from getting in, but we've been getting a lot of calls out here just for spiders. So you've been lucky. But you going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
In the morning?
Yep.
Like 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Perfect. What's your last name? So, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you basically just redirect them to another place, because
Yeah.
I noticed you went from the base to the tree line, the window line, more up in the eaves. So is that just kind of what you try to focus on, just redirecting them as well?
You can too, but you don't want to deceive people, right?
Right.
Sometimes people are going to lie to you and say, well, like, a lot of people say there's no bugs in Utah. Who grew up in the state of Utah? Okay. Doesn't matter where you grew up, who's seen a spider in their house before? Okay. If you don't raise your hand, you're lying, Sterling. It's because your arms are so big, they're probably tired from the gym. But everyone sees spiders, and if you can't see spiders, do we know why a brown recluse is a brown recluse? Stays in the same place for a year. What if they're not seeing them in the basement, Braden? You've serviced a lot of pest control homes. Do they get them in the walls, in the eaves, in the bathroom? Spiders can come up through the toilet. Spiders can actually last in water, underneath water, for like up to 72 hours. I was working on my father-in-law's pool pump, and I saw a giant black widow, like 6 feet underwater, and I'm like, this is disgusting in Utah. So, and I didn't know that, so I went and did some research because I'm a bug nerd. Spiders can live underwater for like 72 hours. So if you flush a spider down the toilet, when you go do your business the following morning, Mr. Spider could come back up and say hi. But so Aaron, to answer your question, is if you blow up the issue. If people aren't seeing bugs, they don't like bugs, right? And if they don't like bugs, or they don't like the idea of bugs, it's like car maintenance, right? It's a convenience thing, it's an emotion thing. Who's a vet that's ever had someone buy because they like you? Yeah. They probably didn't, I mean, everybody will benefit from it because you shouldn't ever try to convince somebody to do something that is in their best interest, but I know for a fact over the past 9 years, I've had hundreds of people say, look, Dane, you know, we're not seeing a whole lot right now, but we like the idea of what you're doing. We'll go ahead and give you a shot this year, Joshua. Does that sound fair? Oh, cool. What was your last name? Or was that credit or debit? That'll happen. It's they say the harder you work, the luckier you seem to get. And if I had a rep in the past that believed that we were killing God's creatures, bugs, that we were committing like murder and murdering bugs, and how many accounts do you guys think he sold that year? Yeah, like 0. Any other questions or comments? It's 2 minutes of open mic, and then we're going to read a quote here. Michael.
So just a quick comment for if someone says they're not really seeing any bugs. Most of the time, it's because they're not spending a lot of time at home. They don't really remember the last time they saw bugs, or they flat out have seen bugs and just are trying to get you off their door. There's tons of times where initially I'm talking to someone and they're like, oh, we don't have any bugs, we've seen nothing. And then like 15 minutes later, they're like, yeah, so do you take care of all the earwigs that I'm getting in my bathroom? Like, they'll just admit like 10 minutes later, oh yeah, I am seeing tons of bugs. So usually that's an objection that you just don't believe.
Exactly. And you'll get those guys, you know, Dane, I haven't seen a bug in 30 years. And so you're like, look, I believe you, Bruce, but in your neighborhood, everybody has bugs. There's a reason they sent me out here. You're not seeing anything inside, right? Aaron, you're not seeing anything inside, right? It's mostly been the yard, and everyone's got bugs in the yard. You knew that, right? So what I'm doing for all your neighbors, boom. So I didn't make you feel stupid, but I just turned and that's another takeaway, always turn a negative into a positive. And so, you know, but Dane, it's going to rain. You know, that's actually the most important time to treat Eric. And we're going to go over that really effectively next week, is getting objections, but you guys will realize that in sales. You know, Dane, I'm just looking to cut cost. I know, Bruce, and time is money, right? Do you work full time? Yeah. Imagine having to sweep all these spider webs down, and I'm sure your wife already has you doing enough chores on the weekend, right? So let me save you the time and energy, Bruce. I'm going to be out here tomorrow. I'll do it for $79, just because I know you got more important things to do with your time. Does that sound fair? Okay. Okay. Let's read this quote about winning, because winners win, and that's what we like to do here, keeping commitments. Who's got a loud, authoritative voice besides Sterling flexing back there? Sterling, every time I glance back at you, I get a little intimidated. I'll read this one for you guys. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. Some people have the habit of victory and success, and although we'd like to believe that these people have a glamorizing mystical power, the truth is much more basic than that. They commit to whatever it is they want to do. If you ask me, that is the more impressive part, that they can commit and exercise self-discipline in just about anything they do. So you must crush it wherever you're at. You must dominate whatever it is that you're doing. You must do everything in your power to reach the top of whatever game it is that you're playing. Rory Vaden. And if you guys want to read a good book, Take the Stairs, 7 Steps to Achieving True Success. It's what I invited you guys to do 2 weeks ago. If you guys are going to come on any of the preseason trips for rookies in January or February, get your words down. You should be meeting with your team lead or your manager or your divisional or your regional like at least once a week, probably twice a week. Right when I got home off my mission, my cousin just sent me his words, and I think it was literally like I got home on like a Wednesday, and by Sunday I had my words memorized. I just wrote flashcards and then read them every night. If you do something every night for like 14 days, which everybody has 14 days until preseason, it's not, and your team lead had to do it. They've trained lots of reps who've had to do it, and so they can teach you tricks and ways to do that. But if you guys do that, it'll be hard. It's if you master the basics and you do what I tell you to do or what your team lead tells you to do, I tell people to do things because I want people to succeed and be successful, and it's the 99% of the time most people don't do things without having they don't do things unless they're asked to do them. And so if you want to be an outlier, if you want to be better than 95% of everybody, just show up, meet with your manager and learn this stuff, and you can thank your manager at the end of a year, at the end of 5 years, at the end of 10 years for helping you become a more powerful communicator, more committed to whatever it is that you do, having more integrity, being honest with yourself if you're giving your 110%, and also being happy and grateful, right? Who had a good Thanksgiving last week? It's like, I've met and I've interacted with like probably like north of 300 reps in the past decade, and if you guys are looking for opportunities to serve and to show gratitude and to pay it forward, and just during the day when you're out selling and doing this stuff, it's hard to, your attitude's contagious. So if you're happy, if you're grateful, if you're having fun, if you're having a good time, Eric, you can probably vouch for that, right? You're a happy-go-lucky guy. Like, people want to talk to happy people on top of being the boss, right? And when I'm not with a microphone in front of like 40, 50 people, when I'm just one-on-one, I'm like, Johnny, the best neighbor ever. Like, I become best friends with everybody, and that's how I connect with people. You had a comment here?
No, I was just wondering, because I heard you say the word outlier. I was wondering if you've read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah, that's a good book. I was just, yeah.
Read it?
Yeah, I've read it.
I like it. What was your name? Eric? Derek. Thanks, Derek. Okay, guys, thanks for coming out. Next week, we're going to be going over objections and closing. Appreciate it.